Welcome to Movie Time Machine, where each episode we take a movie from the past and relive it in the present. This week, we travel back to 1992 and revisit Scent of a Woman, starring Al Pacino and Chris O'Donnell, and directed by
Martin Brest.
I'm your Time Machine host, Chad, and surrounded with me, my Time Machine co-host. Let's go around the table and introduce ourselves.
I'm James, and I am currently watching The Good Place. It's actually really, really funny, and I gotta be honest, Kristen Bell, whew.
Hey, this is Chris. I've been doing this for some time now. Currently, I haven't started it, but I'm really excited to begin Season 3 of Atypical. I really love Season 1 and Season 2 of that on Netflix. Season 3 just came out today, so that's something that I'm really looking forward to starting, hopefully in the next couple of days.
What's that on?
That's on Netflix. Yep.
Hey, this is Jamie. My wife is 6 months pregnant, so I've been watching a lot of the Great British Baking Show. Chad.
I thought it was like 16 and pregnant or something like that.
No.
I was thinking it was like Lamaze breathing on Meditation Hulu.
She just really wants cake.
That's fair. That's fair.
Cake or death?
My wife wants to eat it
cake,
too.
Please. This is Chad, and lately I've been watching... What have I been watching that isn't Ozark and Watchmen?
What do you go to bed to?
Other than
Daily
pictures
Show?
of me.
Yay! All right, let's go into the movie Scent of a Woman. And Chris, why don't you let us know what this movie is about? Then we'll get into some box office numbers, and we'll talk about what came out in the year 1992. We're going to go around the table and give you thoughts on the film Scent of a Woman. Then we're going to do our top 3 Al Pacino movies. We're going to do an aggregated list and create our top 5 for Movie Time Machine. Go ahead, Chris.
All right. Thank you, Chad. So we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about the premise for Scent of a Woman. This is coming from IMDb. A prep school student needing money agrees to babysit a blind man, but the job is not at all what he anticipated. All right. So box office for Scent of a Woman, the budget was $31 million estimated. Opening weekend, it made $357,468,000.
Fucking serious?
Yeah, $357,468. Yeah.
What was the month?
It came out, it's a Christmas movie. It came out like December 23rd, I think.
So they were planning it to be an Oscar movie.
Yeah.
That's why. That's exactly why.
Looking at gross domestic, $63 million, and looking at worldwide gross, $134 million. So top grossing movies is Batman Returns.
The best. Second best Batman.
Oh
Do
my.
a separate podcast.
Number 2
Okay, we will
is Home
fight.
Alone 2 Lost in New York. Number 3, Lethal Weapon 3. Number 4, Sister Act. Number 5, Aladdin's World. Or I'm sorry, number 5, Aladdin.
I've never heard of that movie.
Number 5, Aladdin. Number 6, Wayne's World. Sorry, got ahead of myself. I'm gonna see, where is this within it?
Question: where is A Few Good Men? Where is A League of Their Own?
So A Few Good Men is number 14 on the list.
I'll allow it.
Where's Unforgiven?
Which won Best Picture, right?
Yeah.
Or Best Director at least.
It won Best Picture.
A League of Their Own is 8.
And how about Last of the Mohicans? That was also out that year.
I know that movie is probably not that great of a movie, but I love it.
You're talking about Army of Darkness, aren't
More
you?
importantly, Mighty Ducks
What?
31.
Army of
No,
Darkness.
I'm talking about Last of the Mohicans.
Oh, I was going to say Army of Darkness was also out in 92.
I know, like, in retrospect, that film probably has lots of problems, but
All right,
God,
so
it's a great love story.
So Last of the Mohicans was number 17.
An awesome soundtrack.
What beat Last of the Mohicans was clearly the very, very well done White Men Can't Jump.
Dude, White Man Can't Jump.
It's a
You've
great
never seen
movie.
it?
No.
Oh, my
We gotta put
gosh.
that on the list, maybe.
Unforgiven, number 18.
That's another movie I gotta watch.
Okay, Chris, I'm just really sad. Your favorite movie of all time isn't in this situation. It's The Mighty Ducks also came out in 92.
I know it did. It was 31. Yeah, it was 31 on this list. Don't worry, I saw. Oh, that's such a great.
When was
Gordon
last-
Bombay.
But
Mighty Ducks Miracle Man.
Oh, Miracle Man. When was the last time you watched Mighty Ducks?
A few years ago
Last
at
year.
a movie.
Was anybody else surprised? Like all of a sudden he's like, oh, he got a DUI, and like now his criminal offense. Like, oh, you're a
just seemed
bad
like
person. You need to coach this
Right.
elementary school team. Like,
Wisconsin's laughing their asses off.
More importantly, I
do
thought
that
what
all
you
the
were gonna-
time.
because they can't get pulled over. We do this in lawnmowers.
I thought you were gonna ask like, is anybody else surprised at how well it held up? Because it does, doesn't it? Great movie.
You know what's really cool? I watched this as a Movies in the Park a few years ago, and when it got to like the quack, like I think it was at Harriet Band Shelter, everybody was like going quack, 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 quack. It was so cool. It was a great movie.
Go Ducks!
Anyway, any other film favorites that year? Oh my god.
I do not own
Wayne's
a
World.
gun.
Yeah,
Let
Wayne's
enough-
World.
let alone enough
Quick feelings about Wayne's World.
How about
don't
Three
like?
Ninjas?
Wait. I have a question.
Oh,
here.
yeah.
I'm posing amongst the Wayne's World. Good, bad, like, no
I
like.
liked
Love
it.
Wayne's World.
Yeah.
Loved it. Actually, I own the VHS because I got it in a Happy Meal at McDonald's. I swear to God.
That's fucking classic.
Yeah,
That's
and like there
awesome.
was like 4 options, and Sister Act was probably the other one. And I'm like, oh, Wayne's World, and then it was the best thing ever.
Yeah. That was. I feel like that was like a. What am I like?
you
I'm in
ever-
like junior high school, probably like 7th grade.
So when was
8th
last
grade.
time you watched that? Now, when was last
Wayne's-
time?
It was on TV not too long ago,
Because
like
like,
over the summer.
so when did you say you watched it last? Like,
This
or
was last
or the
summer
first
sometime.
time? The first
The
time.
first time I was in like junior high school. It's like
Anybody else?
8th grade, 9th grade. I think.
Last year, maybe?
No. Like the first time you
First
watched
time.
it.
Oh, the first time. Yeah, high
L-
school.
Like it was hilarious, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh, okay, high school. So you guys knew what hand jobs were? Because I think at the first time I watched it was like 5th grade, and just laughed. and then I would quote it in middle school
Right.
with a lot of
Right.
questions. Oh my god, it was yeah. No, but that movie still holds up. It's still really really funny. Actually, so one thing I just came across with '92 was Lawnmower Man, which was probably one of the first movies with CGI.
I love that movie.
I think
That's
Kind of
that
interesting.
is a
Great movie,
yep.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool movie.
Otherwise, the second animated movie that year besides Aladdin with Robin Williams was Fern Gully.
How about Ladybugs with Jonathan Brandiston?
All right, let's move on. Let's move
What
on.
about
Let's move on.
feelings on Last of the Mohicans?
Never seen it.
I love it, and the score was
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
That is
Daniel
amazing
Day-Lewis
score,
is
yes.
great.
Who did
Yeah.
the score? Pearl Jam?
I used to have the soundtrack on cassette.
I
for
said,
this film
yeah.
and listen to it all the time.
But for real, like, for those of us who haven't seen it, who did the score?
So Randy Eldman composed it.
Close.
Yeah, we were all very, very close with that one. No, it was very, very good one. Trevor Jones also did that one.
Trevor Jones.
Yeah, you know.
All right, let's talk about Scent of a Woman. James, you picked this film. Why don't you give us a reason why you picked this? Then we'll go around the table and we'll give some thoughts on the movie.
I really enjoyed this film. It's kind of one of those everybody likes Dead Poets Society. It just seems like one of those movies that it's an enjoyable film. There isn't really any controversy with it until I watched it in 2019. Now I find a lot of controversy in it. But the first time I watched it, I remember I was at my grandpa's house and we were just visiting, and I was going through. He was a movie guy, and so there was several VHSs, and I kind of went down the line and like tipped them over one by one of what movies I always wanted to see and never had seen, and this was kind of in the mix. And so I'm like, I went through one and watched like North by Northwest and loved it, and it's now probably one of my favorite films. And then I went through another, and then eventually came across this one, and I again, just an inspiring movie at the time, and very just, I don't know, for me, very fun, and very much when I watched it in the 90s, it made a lot of sense, and I just thought it was fun. Like, it always has this ending where you're pumped up at the end regardless of thinking about it. So again, watching it now, I might have a couple different opinions, but I really enjoyed it. So happy you guys, I think half, if not all, had not seen it.
Yeah, this is the first time I've watched this film.
Yeah. Did you watch it again directly?
No, but
Oh, okay.
Jamie, you want to give us some thoughts on the film?
I can give you some quick thoughts. I will confess right now that I only made it an hour into the movie, not for lack of interest, just for a busy work week. So I will return to it. But so I got to Thanksgiving dinner. That's as far as I was able to make it. But so far, I'm very curious to see where it's going because right now I'm intrigued. I'm very interested.
What caught you from the beginning, like, of this movie?
So I mean the prep school thing. I can relate to it. Going to an all boys school. Spoiler alert, that was me for high school. And so I guess on that level, that's why, like James, like you said, Dead Poets, that grabs me right away. And
it seemed like it was a prep school time, like the 90s movies, the early 90s.
yeah,
When did School Ties come out?
That was another one that I was thinking of too, and I'm like, that was around the same time. Not the year, but yeah, it seemed like it was a prep school time.
yeah, I think you're right, and it's weird because it feels. Chad and I disagree with this. It doesn't feel 90s to me. It feels like late 80s because all of the actors in it, like Chris O'Donnell, Phil Seymour Hoffman, they still seem really young, like not, Chris O'Donnell, he'll be Batman, but I think that's like 8 years.
Will he
about
be
that.
Batman?
You're right. He will not. He will be Robin.
Yeah, there.
There we go.
I was like, I don't remember that.
Yeah, I don't either.
Actually, School Ties came out in 92, the same year, so.
Oh.
Which is actually, like, why would Chris O'Donnell sign on to the same role twice?
Maybe he had a lot of private boys' school things to work through.
Much like yourself.
Yeah, much like myself. So no, I'm curious to see where it goes. It's like right now it's Al Pacino being a dick to everybody, which is like kind of fun and interesting. And I want to know why there's a reason he's so angry. So I'm excited to find out why.
Oh, Chad?
I had a hard time with this movie. I mean, again, you said there's some differences, like from when your emotions tied to it from the first time you watched the film,
Correct,
versus watching the second time.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, like I have a bias against movies that have to deal with any kind of like all boys prep school. There's lots of privilege going on here. I'm just like, fuck these guys. Like, I mean, just like I don't care about any of these like characters at the beginning of the film. And I think
Chris O'Donnell's on scholarship though.
he is on. Wait, that's kind of the part I do like, where he is on scholarship.
In School Ties, Brendan Fraser, like, he was the odd man out. Like, he knew about cars. You greaser. I know it. That's the thing. You hate the socias.
That's why, he does come from like this working class family. He was raised by like his father left, and he's like raised by like his mom and his stepfather. And I did kind of like that storyline, and I just didn't understand a lot of the connections between him and like these prep school kids, and like why you haven't seen this, but like towards the end, like I don't understand like why the connection of why you want to just like fucking rat him out.
Why you protect him?
Why would you protect him? And I didn't get that. And
because he
spoiler, everybody knows this. Yeah.
Well,
Hey, when you get to that point, yeah. Hey, I mean, right. You should. Hey, you should have watched it. I mean, you got a job to do. It's a podcast.
No, but I can relate on that level too. I get a similar feeling watching Gilmore Girls because my wife said I've just seen it by association. It's a good show. It's really well written, but a lot of the Rory Gilmore problems are like, you are fine. You know, like cry me a river.
Why did you have to preface with, I saw it by association. I watched it on my own, and it's amazing.
I really like Gilmore Girls.
Gilmore Girls is well written. And
for Gilmore Girls?
Amy Sherman Palladino.
Yeah, she's got like 3 names.
Here's why, though, James. Here's why. Because I like it. It's the only show, though, I can't second screen. Because it's so well written, like, I have to watch. I can't do anything else.
I was just talking to my wife. I was like, hey, this winter, we should probably start this again. And she's like, no. But I agree. It's fantastic. And also, my favorite thing is, like, I want to watch it again so I can try to, like, tally, like, the references I know. Like, because there's so much going on in the dialogue. It's so cool. No, it's very well made and written show.
I mean, there were parts of Scent of a Woman that I did like. I like the idea of like the dynamic between I can't remember the character's name right now, but Chris O'Donnell's character and like Colonel Frank, and just like just this little adventure that came along with it, but some of like the character comments from Colonel Frank just hasn't aged as well. But beyond that, like one kind of question I want answered like towards the end of the film, like why, like the whole like kind of like trial thing at the school, like I don't understand like the incident with like the schoolmaster, how that ties into like this big kind of like
The climax of the movie.
Yeah, that did not like, it just didn't mesh for me. Like I don't understand like why would it be on that scale or be held, like why would that be held in front of like all like these students of this school because some kind of like minor prank.
Jamie, you got something on that?
Yeah, having not seen this, I think I do have an answer though.
Okay.
I think
visionary. He's a visionary.
Well, no,
because he went to an all-boys school,
clairvoyant.
Right? Is that what you said? Yeah.
Yeah. No, but because I think that scene, it happened in front of everybody, and he does seem like, a pretty low self-esteem, vain guy. So he's got to punish them in front of everybody, like the, crime fits the. I was embarrassed in front of the school. So I would say that's maybe why. Again, having not seen the ending.
That's actually really awesome considering he I was like, man, I didn't even think about that. Wow, that's awesome.
Well, then there's that. Then there's like the whole thing with like, Pacino's character coming in and like defending him, and this whole thing with like, he's not a snitch.
Oh yeah.
It just.
Well, that just fits with Pacino's gangster character in general. He's like, you know what this movie's missing?
I'm gonna sit down and go, hoo-ah!
This movie's missing a heist. Can't get past that, but we got to get a snitch involved.
Yeah, and then the part was like for me, like where I feel like it feels like a '90s movie. There's just something about the score of this film. It just kind of creeps up, then it's, it kind of fades out, and it creeps into like another like. Some kind of emotional scene between like some of the main characters film, and it kind of fades away. And like as soon as you get to another emotional moment, the same score kind of creeps in. I feel like there's just like one track of like there's only like one score. It's about like 3 minutes long. 3 minutes long. It just kind of fades in and out throughout the film. You gonna Google that?
Well, I was gonna say I was gonna comment on who it was because I had a guess, and
I think it was Danny Elfman.
No, 100%.
I want that to be your answer for like every like film 100%.
Score.
You'll get it right half the time.
It's also gonna be. I've been doing this a while.
No, I felt like it was Thomas Newman in it, and it was Thomas Newman doing it, but it's one of those movies where I agree. Like so now
Rob
watching.
Thomas?
Rob Thomas?
Yes, the lead singer of.
No, it was who was Rob Thomas the singer for?
Matchbox
20.
Yeah, Matchbox. I was like Matchbox 20.
The reason why I knew that because when I used to work overnights at the Walmart in Bloomington, one of the vendor guys that would come in the morning, he'd always call me Matchbox 20
Because he looked like Rob Thomas.
Like, hey, what's up, Matchbox 20? I'm like, hey.
Oh, that's great.
I'm a name, but anyhow,
that's hilarious. I agree. The score actually, I feel like watching it a second time around now, it was depicting the movie. So you're not wrong about like the same like 3 bars in different keys. It was definitely. I mean, but can we say that about any movie almost?
Yeah, like I'm second guessing myself because I think about like movies like Stand By Me
and Star Wars.
Star Wars.
I was kidding. They have a crusher score. I just wanted to get you hyped a little bit.
No, but it made me think about Stand By Me because like Stand By Me is like a film. It's like it kind of does the same thing where like that they do like a different version of that song that kind of like flows in and out of that film. Mm-hmm. But I think for that movie, it's more powerful, I guess. But it's I've had multiple conversations with Jamie about this, that there's something about 90s films and like the score and just how it's like placed in the film, and I have no idea, maybe this is just in my own head, but there's something about 90s films and the way like the score matches like the movie, like this film, and it's like in Contact too, like there's just something about how it's presented in those films that's very like that makes it like a '90s film. I have no idea, and like
I do remember you brought this up to me, and I know what you're saying, and I agree too with '90s films. I diverge with you in feeling like this is a '90s film.
Yeah.
I don't know. This still feels like a late '80s film to me because I guess I don't have that. Like my '90s context is like Bill Clinton is president and everything else that follows. I don't know. Even though it's '92, it just I don't know.
Does this feel like this takes place before or after Goodfellas?
Oh, that's a good question.
I feel like
Well,
before.
yeah.
Well,
I'm sorry.
that was the obvious answer.
Well, I know.
Currently,
My bad.
But there is a line, where he references President Bush, like,
Yeah.
oh, you're all trying to be President Bush. So, I mean, I guess that anchors it with the last 2 years of his presidency.
Which Bush?
The senior.
Just
The
kidding.
one who can eat pretzels correctly.
Oh yes, there we go. Hooah! Oh my god.
Is it from Jarhead?
Jar-
I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, 90s music cues.
Yeah, so I kind of want to ask. So like, I feel like you had like an emotional connection with this film because you mentioned like, like your grandfather and like going through like his movies and picking these out and versus like watching it today. Do you want to just go more into like
Today,
what like
what my change would be?
Yeah.
It was interesting watching the movie, and I guess I was watching it with different things that Al Pacino was saying, and like how cavalier he was with the word pussy, and
Pussy.
even just talking about like it was like for me it was like 1992. He's trying to like convince us how much he loves women, and he's just like and their legs, and in between them like the
Passport to heaven.
Exactly. Yeah. Like there's just things like that. I'm like, oh my god, this guy should be a poet. When I
but
was
in a way,
in
it's
middle
like,
school.
Right.
Now I'm like,
right.
What is he saying?
I guess there's a way too. You can look at it. It's kind of tragic because like you kind of find out towards the end that he hasn't really had that. I guess you kind of are picking.
Absolutely not. Like he's just always inspired to that. Like it's like there's never one time in the movie where he's like, my ex-wife, my girl, the girl I lost, the one that got away. No, it's always just every other person that has been part of his life slightly, like his brother's wife. Yeah. Just like he really appreciates all these nice women or women in general. Yeah. But you're right. But he's never had a chance to have one, be with one, truly respect one, it seems like.
Yeah. Based on that too, I got some similar feelings just in the post Me Too or current Me Too world that we're in. But what I did enjoy though, on a comedic level, was that like where I stopped at Thanksgiving dinner, where he's just making his family uncomfortable, telling a threesome story, which I think everyone who has like the SNL character Drunk Uncle can relate to.
Right. I was really thinking
everyone who's had a threesome.
Right. Thank you. That's exactly what I was like.
And I was like, that's so
everyone's had
out with it.
Hey, I had the best idea. Make East meet West and build a golden bridge. I'm like, Jamie, oh my God.
So like I did not know that the hooah was from this film. So is it this film alone is like what has drawn up that Pacino like prototype character, like if it was
that's
being
what's
parodied.
been fun about this podcast is like watching things and never seeing them before. You're all of a sudden like Blues Brothers I brought up. I'm like, oh, maybe this is from other movies, and you're like, who? You're like, oh, that's from Scary Movie 3. Like I'm like, I have no idea.
Yeah, I had no idea going into this.
Well, that's wild too, seeing a bunch of Pacino films that this is the movie that got him his Oscar. That's like I'm not saying he's bad in it or whatever, but it's not Michael Corleone.
So is it's that end scene that basically gets him the Oscar? Do you think?
But is it?
I don't know. That's my question.
I'm sorry. Like I went through the Pacino movies. Like I started going down the list of like all of us, and it's actually alarming. I thought there was a lot more. I would think like Pacino's been through like 100 movies, and it was more like 49 or something like that. Right. Which, I mean, good for him for picking his roles and doing what he does. And he's very good at what he does. But I was going through them thinking to myself, I'm like, Okay, which one is better than this? Like, which one is a well acted? Not like the movie in general. I enjoyed a lot of his movies, but as far as a performance, I don't know. I feel like this probably was on par for that, personally,
As far as like an Oscar-worthy performance,
compared to his other ones. Yeah,
other ones.
but then again, I've never seen Godfathers. I say fathers because I've never seen any.
Clutches pearls.
I mean,
Let's go
I could
around the
probably
room. Let's
get-
go around the room. Chris, have you seen
Godfathers. Godfathers.
Godfathers? Have you seen Godfathers?
No.
How about Godfathers Part
Have you
2?
ever been a
How about, have you been to a Godfather?
Yes.
What's your what's your favorite part about the Godfathers?
Was the taco pizza.
Absolutely. And their dessert pizza, so good.
The buffet? That was the buffet. Jamie, you seen Godfathers?
Am I the only one who's seen The Godfather?
Yeah.
Yes.
so.
I've also never seen Scarface.
Clarify which ones or
1
all?
and 2. I've seen 1 and 2.
Okay.
Yeah. Skip 3.
Do we need
It's in my
to add
queue.
those to the list?
Well, we will.
Scarface is like 3
It
hours
might be-
though. With kid?
Yeah.
How do you
Yeah.
do that?
Yeah, I would
Scarface is
probably.
It's worth it though.
Yeah.
Even like the Irishman's coming out, and that's like, isn't that over 3 hours? It's like 3.5 hours.
Really?
I know this is a
I'm almost
podcast about a
positive
certain
it's like
movie, but is
three-
it worth it?
Scarface.
Oh yeah, we get.
James!
Sorry, maybe we just need to.
I
We podcast battles.
Ding 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 ding. All right, I think we said a lot about how we feel about the film. Why don't we go around the table and we're gonna list our top 3 Al Pacino movies, and I'm gonna keep a score on our films listed, and I'm gonna aggregate. It's for you, James. Our top
Appreciate that.
5 films after we're all done. So, how about we go this way?
Okay. Am I going 3 to 1 all at once?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll start with an honorable mention. My honorable mention is Insomnia. It was a Christopher Nolan movie with Pacino, Robin Williams, and there's a third actor in there. But super good. It's a mystery set in Alaska. I don't want to reveal too much. Al Pacino's a cop, and an accident happens, and he's kind of forced to deal with the consequences. And it's really good, especially with Nolan. I feel like it's almost one that gets missed. So I recommend Insomnia.
When did that movie come out?
Ooh, that I actually don't know.
I want to say it was like a 99, 97. It was early. It was directly after Memento.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was before Nolan was huge.
What's Nolan's first movie? Like
The Following.
The Following. And then Memento, I have to say, like,
Insomnia was 2002.
okay, I was going to guess it might be later because I remember driving to see Memento, so it had to be later.
At Landmark?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like, I was really excited to drive downtown Minneapolis. In not downtown Minneapolis.
Uptown.
Close enough.
Gotta watch those one ways. So then 3 would be Godfather Part 2. I went back and forth between this one and the first one. I don't know. I think, well, I won't say anymore. I'm the only one who's seen it. We can talk about my reasons why when we've all seen the
Okay,
Godfather.
yeah.
So Godfather Part
Fair.
2.
I like it.
for
Thank you.
3.
you.
Yep. 2 is Heat. I love that movie for all the reasons. And number 1 is Godfather.
All the reasons being Val Kilmer. Got it.
Yes.
Oh,
I feel like Heat is like a movie I need to see now. Like
So do I, actually. That
It's
should be
been-
one we should do.
There's like a couple podcasts. I know like
Yeah.
Rewatchables just did one on that
Yeah.
not so long ago, and like some of the other podcasts.
Cinematography in that
cover
movie
films,
is
so-
fantastic.
I was going to say that would be a really fun podcast battle. Would be best Val Kilmer movie.
That could be a great podcast.
That'd be
True
super
Romance.
fun. Yeah. Are you kidding me? It's clearly Gay Perry from Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Did anybody see The Snowman
The
No.
with
no.
Fassbender?
With Fassbender, right? I was
Yeah.
like, am I thinking of the right movie? Was
Yeah.
Val Kilmer in that?
He's in it. His lines are dubbed because he had throat cancer or throat surgery.
Oh yeah.
It is so funny.
That's why he wears like the scarf now
Yeah.
all the time.
Yep.
Just like in Batman
That movie's
Forever.
terrible. Don't watch it.
Dun, 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 dun. Chris.
All right, so gonna throw this out there. Complete cop out. Like there are very few Pacino movies that I've seen, so I feel like I just need to go with the 2 that I've seen,
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
and then just pick a third. So, number 1, Donnie Brasco.
It's in my queue.
Yeah, I actually really liked it. Like, it's a good movie.
That's
Number
your number one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Based on what I've seen. Like, I'm gonna be.
seen
I'm
the whole
gonna
movie.
just continue to make sure. Like,
Jamie, you went 3, 2, 1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
sorry.
like.
Yeah,
I'm
whatever.
number one because
Hey, it's your list.
it's
I
not
thought
great.
Whatever.
One was gonna be
However
the
you-
guess. I was like,
yeah.
that's an
No.
amazing guess.
Number 2 is Ocean's 13 again because I've seen it.
no, very because I like
in
the
that
bright
movie.
colors and sounds of the casino.
Yeah.
I'm picking Oceans.
In number 3, again, just because I feel like this is one that I should see, and like I like just know like
So this is more of like an honorable mention.
yeah, like this is like just such pop culture reference, just Scarface.
Boo this man! Like honorable mentions
Yeah,
list
so
for Pacino.
that's all I got.
For me, I'll go third place. I'm gonna go Son of a Woman. It has a place in my heart. I get it.
Have you watched it recently?
Yes, clearly, and also like it is. It's awkward and hard to watch on some scenes because you do think of what Jamie suggested with the Me Too movement, or I'm just saying trying to think of it like what was like, oh, he's trying to be so heartfelt towards people and women, and it's just really just him being this like really gross old dude, like, and it just maybe it doesn't hold up anymore. Maybe it doesn't, but for the time, it just seemed like it worked in the movie, and so when we're watching the movie, I just feel like I try to do myself. I try to put myself in a place of. When watching Philadelphia, put myself in 1994 or whenever that came out. Like, oh, okay, so how was everybody feeling about AIDS and homosexuality back then? Like, I just try to get myself back there to be like, okay, because watching it now and thinking how everybody is, maybe it's not that big of a deal. Like, what was everybody crying about? Like, I don't know. So just for me in that, I feel like it was I just really enjoyed that movie, and also with like I said, I watched it when I was at my grandpa's house, just going through his collection. So, my second one, I don't know if anybody will have this or remember this. If somebody else has this, I would really appreciate it. That'd be great. Devil's Advocate.
Oh yeah.
That was one of my honorable mentions. I scratched it for Insomnia.
Oh, okay. Like, and God, I love the movie in general. But I think his role in it, he was just so much fun in it. He doesn't play anything any different than his other characters as a whole, in my opinion. He's played quite a few, but I just thought it was fun, and I really enjoyed him in that movie. That was just kind of me. Number 1, Donnie Brasco, I think was my favorite. Forget about it, or as forget about it, but maybe just forget about it.
2, right?
Because I saw it.
Right.
Oh yes, because he said.
I also really liked him in Devil's Rejects.
Donnie, refresh my memory with Donnie Brasco. That was based
Johnny
off
Depp.
a true story, too, right?
It was based
Yeah.
on a true story. Depp was the other leading character in that one, but Donnie Brasco is just I don't know. I think it's just a very good film. I'm not sure who directed it or what was going on after that, but I think Depp and him complement each other very, very well.
That was also like Depp in his heyday. Like that was like
Before
him.
he got fucking batshit crazy.
He was
Like that was him when he was like still like choosing really good movies to be in.
Depp was probably the first person to be like, I'm no fucking cop.
Yeah. Oh, I hate that movie.
Yeah.
So good.
You mean the movie for which Scorsese won his Oscar?
Again, yeah.
I just-
we can go on
I-
forever for that.
Oh my god, I'm gonna fight you.
Not fight me? We could do a
I can't wait.
Unforgiven
It's gonna be
fight podcast.
so good.
Scorsese versus Chad. Let's go. I can. Yeah, continue. Hey. Wait,
Next,
3.
you're gonna tell me you hated The Town.
I haven't seen The Town.
Town's a good movie.
Okay. Wait, 3. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that, Chad.
So my number 3 is Donnie Brasco. My number 2.
Why Donnie Brasco was number 3? What was your number 2?
My number 2 is Scarface.
Seriously?
Seriously.
Why Scarface? Why was Scarface even on your top 3?
Because it's awesome.
No.
Yeah.
No.
There's a cool.
This is a cool scene.
No, it's a cool story. Like just kind of like his like rise. There's like
I'm sorry,
kinda like the
they're
movies,
both
like, if we-
based on true stories. Which one's the
Yeah.
better story? Oh,
Wait. I would say Brasco is a better story because it's more. That story is more modern than Scarface,
okay.
I believe.
All right.
Right. But I feel like I'm just talking about like the. I'm all about like emotion
I think
and
one-
feeling. Like when I watch film, though, that trumps everything, and I feel like the emotion and feeling I got like the first time I watched Scarface versus Donnie Brasco. Scarface impacted me more than watching Donnie Brasco.
We've talked about this before. What's the age? So you watched Scarface when?
I saw Scarface.
You don't remember
It's been a
because
while.
you
It's
were
been-
on coke.
Right,
So when
right.
was Donnie Brasco?
I haven't seen Donnie Brasco since I saw it in the theater.
Because you
and
were. No, I'm just kidding. Okay.
I saw Donnie Brasco at the Shattuck Theater in Berkeley.
It's very
So-
specific.
Yeah.
Specific.
Specifically. So number 2.
Thorny. Master of
So-
psychology.
Oh my God. So 3 is Donnie Brasco. My number 2 is Scarface. And my number 1 is Dog Day Afternoon. Is my favorite Pacino film.
That's the one
That's-
where he was holding
It's
up
like
a
the
bank.
bank robbery. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
There's like
that,
they take
that
all,
was
like-
that movie was great.
Yeah, that is up there in probably like my top 25.
I think watching that movie in like no, probably late 2000s, I was just thinking of, holy cow, that was some production quality for like 70, like 8. What was that?
I think it's like mid. I think it's like 72. It's like earlier 70s.
Even crazier.
But that movie came out in like a time of like there was like a movie revolution going on there
Like-
too. Like
Attica, like what is it?
yeah, the prison riot. Like
Yeah, that's
Attica prison riot. And
one of 5 John Cazale movies that he's in. Is that right?
his
I can't-
partner is in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Godfather 2, Dog Day Afternoon, and he's in The Deer Hunter, I believe. Every movie he's been in has been nominated for the Best Picture film that year. That's the weird John Cazale fact. Before he passed away, he was in like 5 or 6 movies, all of them nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah, and
I
Dog
know
Day
that's
Afternoon
one.
was like a movie. Like when I watched it, like I remember renting that from the library on VHS. I watched it, and when it was over, I watched it again.
75.
Yeah.
Yes. I gotta revisit that one. I think I got that from the library too. Maybe.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's just a brilliant movie, and like, I feel like, the zeitgeist or like popular like opinion of Pacino in movies is like kind of like this badass, kind of like gangster like profile for the most part. And I just kind of it's kind of a different character in this. Like you kind of empathize him. He's not like the most brilliant person in this film, but I feel like you empathize more with his character in this film versus his other movies that he's in. Versus I feel like he kind of plays like this badass. I probably empathize with this character like number 2 in Sense of Woman.
I hate you. Just out of curiosity, so what did so the director of that was Sidney Lumet. Sorry, cut this for a second.
Like 12 Angry Men, Sidney Lumet.
Well,
I think that's right.
hold on, I'm trying to find the movie you guys were talking about that you liked, and
Yeah, 12 Angry Men.
and there was like nothing until
Yeah, Dog Day Afternoon had.
Dog Day Afternoon. That's what I'm talking about. Well, with Dog Day Afternoon, nothing really came from Sydney till like Before the Devil Knows You're Dead. Like, when was the last time you seen him in headlines or anything?
I watched 12 Angry Men, I think this year. Yeah. 12 Angry Men this year.
It's like a courtroom drama one, right? Like.
Yeah, that's the.
What was the year?
Yep. I think that one was a 50s movie.
Interesting, because Before the Devil Knows You're Dead is 2007. How's he doing?
I think he's dead, James.
Shh. You shut your mouth.
Yeah, lymphoma.
Lymphoma.
Jesus Christ, are you serious?
Yeah, 57. 12 Angry
Says
Men.
lymphoma on IMDb.
that's one of the older black and white 50s movies that I would say still really holds up.
No, I appreciate that. I was just I knew the name, and I was trying to figure out what it was I knew him from, and it was definitely from When the Devil Knows He's Dead. I love that movie. I own it. I bought it after it came out, and it's crazy to think that he was involved in a movie in the 50s. So,
yeah. Oh, he did Serpico too.
I haven't seen that movie, but all that makes me think of is the It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia episode. Where Charlie is Serpico. Right?
like, I don't know. I even know how to.
All
right, so here's our...
Sylvia?
What's that?
Is that a different person than Pepe Sylvia?
I believe so.
Okay.
Just for the record, he never once talked about this, and I understand why. This dude, Son of a Woman guy,
Yeah.
Martin Brest,
Did
directed Geely.
Yeah, but he also directed Beverly Hills Cop.
That is what I was going to say. Chad, thank you. Yes, he had some low times. He had some high times. And then, Son of a
Before we
Woman.
get into our aggregate list of Al Pacino films, like the length of this film,
The length?
yeah, of Scent of a Woman.
Like running time?
Yeah.
I will argue.
Is it too long?
What? This is a fun game. What is too long?
I don't know. That's the question. Yes or no?
Anything over 2 hours is too
Okay,
long.
while you machinate
I
on
would
that.
agree.
What's that?
I would agree. Anything over 2 hours is too
yeah,
long.
anything over 2 hours is too long.
But
Listen to
most
Star
movies
Wars
we're going to
movies.
score is over
Yeah.
2 hours. So what's your scoring level?
I thought it was too long, but
What about the girth?
Your
The
scoring level is
the
it's
scoring
too
level?
long?
what?
Yeah, what's the girth of it?
Stop. Okay, here's our movie time machine list.
He's
So
so-
number 5 is Heat. Number 4, Scarface. Number 3, The Godfather. Number 2, Dog Day Afternoon. Number 1, Donnie Brasco.
Right.
And that concludes this extra complicated episode of Movie Time Machine. If you made it this far, go to Apple iTunes. If you made it this far,
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Circle gets a square. Please go to iTunes, Apple Podcast. Give us the 5-star rating because that's the only one that counts. Find us on Twitter at Movie Machine Pod. Thank you and good night.